Have you ever felt like you're not that smart? Like everyone else just gets it faster than you do? What if I told you that feeling itself might be a sign you're smarter than you think? Because high IQ doesn't always look like straight A's or winning trivia night. It hides in habits most people overlook, even in the people who have them. Stick with me until the end, because the last sign on this list is the one almost every certified genius shares, and you probably do it without even noticing. Here are 10 signs of the psychology of people with a high IQ. 1. You talk to yourself. Out loud, under your breath, mouthing words while you think. It feels a little embarrassing, right? But it's not a quirk, it's a tool. Verbalizing your thoughts is known as external cognition. It forces your brain to slow down and organize itself in real time. People with higher cognitive ability tend to do this more, not less. So if you've caught yourself narrating your own problem solving, that's not you being strange. That's your brain thinking out loud because it has that much to process. 2. You overthink everything. You replay the conversation from 3 days ago. You imagine every possible outcome before making a decision. People call it overthinking like it's a flaw. Psychologists call it metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. Most people make decisions and move on. You keep examining the decision after it's made. That's not anxiety running the show. That's a mind that refuses to accept the easy answer. 3. You get bored almost instantly. Repetitive tasks drain you. Small talk feels unbearable. You need friction, complexity, something to chew on. This is tied to how your brain's reward system responds to novelty. A simple task just doesn't trigger the same response in a high-capacity brain that it does in an average one. So your brain goes looking for something harder, not because you're restless, because you're understimulated. 4. You doubt yourself constantly. You question whether you actually know what you're talking about, even in rooms where you're clearly the most prepared person there. This lines up with something well documented in psychology. The more you understand a subject, the more aware you become of everything you don't know. Meanwhile, the least informed people in the room are often the most confident. So if you're the one full of doubt, that doubt is actually a sign of depth, not a lack of ability. 5. You're a night owl. You do your best thinking after midnight when the house is quiet and nobody needs anything from you. This isn't just a scheduling preference. Research into cognitive patterns has linked later sleep preferences with higher performance on reasoning tasks. When the distractions fade, your brain finally gets the quiet it needs to make the connections it's been holding on to all day. 6. You're sensitive to noise most people don't even register. A ticking clock, someone breathing too loudly, a flickering light. Things that don't bother anyone else pull your attention instantly. That's not you being difficult. That's heightened sensory processing, a brain that takes in more environmental data than average. It's exhausting sometimes, but it's also exactly why you catch patterns and details other people walk right past. 7. You procrastinate, but not out of laziness. You wait and somehow still pull it off at the last minute. Psychologists have a name for this: active procrastination. Your brain isn't stalling because it avoids work. It's stalling because it refuses to spend real effort on something that doesn't matter yet. The moment the task becomes urgent and meaningful, everything you were wasting time on turns out to have been processing in the background the whole time. 8. You remember strange, specific details that nobody else does. The exact words someone said 2 years ago, a random fact from a documentary you half-watched, the date something happened that even the person it happened to forgot. Meanwhile, you can't find your keys. That's not a contradiction. That's a brain that filters hard for what it finds meaningful and holds on to it with total precision, while letting the boring stuff slide. 9. You feel things deeply. Maybe too deeply, according to some people. You pick up on the tension in a room before anyone says a word. You replay other people's pain like it's your own. This surprises people because we're taught intelligence is cold and purely logical. But depth of thought and depth of feeling come from the same place. The people who think the hardest often feel the hardest too. That's not a weakness sitting next to your intelligence. That's part of it. 10. You never stop learning.
Not because school made you, not because a job requires it, but because you genuinely can't help it. You ask questions other people stopped asking years ago. You read the article, then the follow-up article, then go down a path nobody asked you to go down just because you needed to know. This is the sign almost every certified genius throughout history shared. Not talent, not test scores, just an appetite for understanding that never fully switches off. So here's the truth. If you made it this far, if you sat through all 10 of these and kept nodding because you recognized yourself in every single one, that already tells you something. You didn't watch this because you were bored. You watched it because some part of you needed to understand yourself a little better. And that instinct, right there, is exactly what intelligence looks like. So the next time someone calls you too sensitive, too quiet, too in your head, too much of an overthinker, don't shrink from it. Smile, because now you know exactly what that actually means. If this helped you see yourself a little differently, hit subscribe. There's more where this came from.